Hey guys, it's time for another episode of Damien Ruins Horror Movies. My name is Damien. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Cool Dude Inc. We'll be looking at Season 2 of Tales from the Crypt, Episode 2, The Switch. Directed by Arnold Schwarzenegger, who makes a cameo in the beginning and gets to chill out with the Crypt Keeper, who is gradually becoming out of his shell each season, each episode. He gets a little wilder. Let's cue the whiskey bats and start this thing up.
Bring it back the day.
Tales from the Crypt.
A rich old man, Carlton, sits in his big house, alone, except for his Alfred, who would later go on to play Elaine's boss on Seinfeld. He is laughing, giddy like a little schoolboy, for he is in love with a woman named Linda, who is perfect and best of all young. Alfred is worried that she's just gonna Anna Nicole Smith Carlton's ass and take all of his money, but Carlton has the perfect plan. He's not gonna let her know he has money until she accepts his marriage proposal. He wants her to love him for him. Alfred takes him to her, and he proposes to her and gets denied. It's his face. He looks old enough to be her grandpa. And I really love Linda's brutal honesty. It's so great. She's just like, nope, and here's why. She does not hold back at all. You know going in what she's like, because she tells you. But he will do anything to get her. Anything. And he looks every bit of 80, but he wants to look 30. And he finds a doctor who can grant him this wish for $1 million. Apparently $100,000 is for the doctor. The other $900,000 is for Hans, who will be doing the face-off. Although if I was the doc, I'd want a little more than 10%. Come on, you're doing all the heavy lifting. Granted, you're not giving anything up, but still. The operation is a success. And Carlton walks back to the car where Alfred's been waiting for him this whole time. Alfred's been sitting out in the car during this whole process, just waiting. And how bad is Alfred's eyesight that it's not until Carlton gets 2 feet away that he's like, oh my God, your face, you look different. It's like, no shit, you've been watching me the whole walk and now you notice I look completely different? Then it appears they go directly over to Linda's, which who goes to pay somebody a visit directly after an intense surgery? And there's no, and maybe it's just the pacing of the show, because his face should be all bandaged up, I watched the Vince Neil reconstructive surgery. It wasn't a couple hours while your buddy's waiting for you in the car. It's a fucking process. But when Linda sees him, she's shocked and almost kind of appalled. His face is young, but his body's still decrepit. So it's time to once again go see the doctor. And for $2 million, he gets a brand new torso. And afterwards, he meets up with Linda again. And she's amazed as they take a walk on the beach. And he suggests that they go for a swim. And she agrees, but as he strips down to his shorts, she looks at his legs, and they're the skinny old legs of an old man. An old decrepit man. He's still not good enough. Now, to make matters worse, he can no longer afford his house or Alfred because he needs $3 million more for legs. And legs apparently cost $1 million a piece, which is weird pricing if you ask me. But they're $1 million a piece. I know I said 3 because the other $1 million goes towards the dick. How is a leg, a whole torso, and a face, how are those all the same price? Now, if I'm Hans, I'm charging $10 million for my dick because the rest of the stuff is kind of useless without it. It's kind of like, sucker, you bought all that. Now what are you going to do? You're going to use your little 80-year-old thing that hasn't been hard since 1957? Do I need a dick model? But if I'm Carlton spending $1 million for a dick, I'm like, I want a dick catalog. I want to see all eligible dicks I have the choice of. And Hans, you can stay in with them, but I'm not just taking your dick. I want to make sure it's a good piece that can do the job. And even though it's his last $3 million, he goes through with it. Now that he's a new man, he goes to find Linda to show off his new body. But when he gets to her house, she's not there. She moved. He gets the address and tracks her down. Turns out she's upscaled. But he finds her and he proposes again. And keep in mind, he's had the same raspy little old man voice this whole time. Which I don't know how much that costs to fix, but he's broke. So it doesn't matter. She'll constantly have this, well, here I am. She's like dating the emperor. And she denies him again. This time because she's already married. She says she found a man who's got money, who can take care of her, and she never has to worry about anything for the rest of her life. And here's our little plot twist. Out walks Hans in Carlton's dilapidated old body. And to really pour salt in the wound, Alfred's now working for them. And even worse than that, there was no boobage this episode. In the end, Carlton wanted her to love him for him, but he couldn't be himself. And in a way, she kind of did end up falling for him. But it's too late, because now Carlton is stuck jerking off somebody else's dick for the rest of his life. And that's tonight's episode, guys. Go watch some Tales from the Crypt, and I'll see you next time for episode 3 of season 2. See ya.